everyone, my name is Emma de los Santos, and today I'm presenting on the Freddie Mac accounting scandal of 2003. Here are some quick facts on Freddie Mac. Freddie Mac was founded by Congress on July 24, 1970. They are headquartered in McLean, Virginia. Their CEO is Mark B. Greer. As of May 13, 2021, Freddie Mac had 6,905 employees. Their sales were at $68.7 billion, and they had a market cap of $1.5 billion. At last check, Freddie Mac's stock ticker, which is FMCC, was priced at $1.16 at the end of the day on July 16, 2021. So what is Freddie Mac and what do they do? Freddie Mac's official name is Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corporation. Freddie Mac's mission is to promote stability and affordability in the housing market by purchasing mortgages from banks and other loan makers. Freddie Mac and their sister company, Fannie Mae, were chartered by Congress in 1970 when they passed the Emergency Home Finance Act to help support middle-income Americans with home ownership and rental housing. They were created to help make mortgages more affordable and push cash into the market by buying blocks of home loans from lenders and bundling them into securities to sell to investors all over the world. Freddie Mac is the second largest buyer and grantor of home mortgages in the nation. Freddie Mac is known as a GSE, or a government-sponsored enterprise. According to Investopedia, a government-sponsored enterprise is a quasi-governmental entity established to enhance the flow of credit to specific sectors of the American economy. There is a great video on the Investopedia website that explains a GSE. The link to the website will be included on the works cited slide at the end of the presentation. Freddie Mac purchases, guarantees, and securitizes mortgages to form mortgage-backed securities. These securities are pretty liquid and have credit ratings similar to those of U.S. Treasuries. This in turn releases capital back to the mortgage lenders to reuse over and over again. Freddie Mac does not originate or service mortgages. They only buy loans from mortgage lenders. They are under conservatorship due to the accounting scandal of 2003. So now we're at the scandal. So what happened during the Freddie Mac accounting scandal? In June 2003, after an 11-month review, the Freddie Mac accounting scandal came to light. In an attempt to smooth volatility in earnings and meet expectations set by Wall Street, Freddie Mac misstated nearly $5 billion for the years 2000 to 2002. Unlike many of the other big-name accounting scandals, like Enron, Freddie Mac didn't inflate their earnings, they understated their profits. On a pre-tax basis, Freddie Mac understated their net income by a whopping $7.6 billion. The largest portion, being $5 billion, was the result of improper accounting for investments in derivatives. The second largest portion, around $1.7 billion, was the result of improper classification of securities held by the company. Lack of accounting expertise, internal control, and issues with management were all issues that led up to the scandal. This was a big breach of business ethics. So what happened after the scandal? In December of 2003, Freddie Mac had to pay a civil fine of $125 million in a settlement with the Office of Federal Housing Enterprise Oversight. The company agreed to implement measures in order to correct its accounting and governance problems with its federal regulator. It's funny that after Freddie Mac's scandal, their sister company, Fannie Mae, also had an accounting scandal. Theirs came about in September of 2004. They were fined in a 2006 settlement with OFHEO and the SEC for $400 million. Federal regulators put limits on both companies' mortgage debt holdings because of these scandals. The SEC said during the Freddie Mac lawsuit, Freddie Mac engaged in a fraudulent scheme that deceived investors about its true performance, profitability, and growth trends. Freddie Mac had to provide restated financial statements. These statements show that the company didn't understate their net income consistently. It actually rose and fell sharply from quarter to quarter. In a New York Times article, they provided an example of Freddie Mac's restatements. It said, Freddie Mac lost $111 million in the first quarter of 2001, rather than earning nearly $1 billion as it reported. It earned more than $2 billion, or double what it reported in the third quarter of that year. And in the third quarter of 2002, it earned more than $5 billion. That's over $4 billion more than the company reported at that time. Stockholders' equity increased by $6.7 billion due to the restatement documents showing understated retained earnings. In a report by Baker Botts, which was a law firm hired by Freddie Mac's board to investigate the scandal, showed support that the former top executives were aware of some of the accounting issues presented. This scandal led to the resignations of many top executives in the company. Some of the executives that were in trouble were Leland Brenzel, which is the former chief executive officer, David Glenn, the former president and chief operating officer, Vaughn Clark, former chief financial officer, Robert Dean, former senior vice president, and Nazir Dosani, who was also a former senior vice president. The executive settled the SEC's negligent conduct charges by agreeing to pay a total of $515,000 in civil fines and to make restitution totaling $275,548. So what is Freddie Mac up to today? They're still in business, doing mortgages like they had been. Just recently, on June 23rd, 2021, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the head of Federal Housing Finance Agency, or FHFA, who manages the Freddie Mac conservatorship, could be removed without cause. Later that day, President Joe Biden removed the Trump-appointed FHFA director, Mark Calabria, and appointed Sandra L. Thompson as their acting director. So what did I learn while researching for this project? I learned that you can't get away with an accounting scandal. Unethical behaviors will be caught. It was interesting to see everything that we talked about this semester all laid out in this scandal. I saw things about liability, internal controls, and especially ethics. This company didn't follow GAAP guidelines. They did their accounting with no integrity, and they committed acts discreditable. And my last slide is works cited. Just a note, the website investopedia.com/terms/g/gse.asp is the link that you need to go and watch the video on Investopedia about GSEs. It gives a good overview of what the definition is of a GSE. I just wanted to thank you all for listening to my presentation today. Have a good evening.